I'm here at the Results Center in the Western Cape at Century City. I'm sitting with I wonder if she's tired looking or what, Angela Sobey, who was a premier candidate for Action SA. Second day of counting? Second day?
Yeah.
Second day, we had quite an event.
Thursday to Friday. That's
Yeah.
correct. Sorry, I don't
We've
even know the day
we've
of the week
had
anymore.
such an eventful start to the day with the IEC's board being off and so on. But any case, that we can talk about that another time, unless Angela want to express a view about that. But Angela, how do you feel your first national and provincial election campaign? How do you feel about it?
It's certainly been a very interesting experience overall. It's been for me personally a very intense, very demanding, very taxing 3 months. Obviously, I've had 3 months of the campaign in the province, and I think, if I'm being honest, I would have liked to have seen better numbers on the leaderboard, but. I believe that we gave it our best shot with the limitations that we had in terms of time, in terms of resources and everything else. I mean, we're not on the scale of elected parties that are able to throw millions into the ground. It's been a very challenging campaign. I do believe that we did deliver as best we could on the ground, but we're a party that respects the rule of law, and we will accept the outcome of the election once it's been declared, and then it's back to the drawing board and back to the ground to actually ensure that we go and put in the work that would see Action SA with a much better chance. It was interesting to look at some of the other parties and realize that this is their second or their third bite at the elections, so it's understandable that they've been around this block before, and with us being the new kids on the block, contesting a national general election for the first time. I think we were hoping the numbers aren't what we wanted, but we accept that.
I'm glad to hear the first person to say the numbers are not what they expected, because everybody that I see gets interviewed, they said, I'm happy, even if they get 500 to 1,000 votes. So why do you think your message didn't resonate with the voters of the Western Cape?
I don't think my message necessarily, Rod, did not resonate. I just do not think that we were limited. So I do not think that my message got as far. It got the kind of reach or the traction that it could have. And had it certainly done so, I do think that some of the bigger parties were threatened, and it certainly worked in their favor that my message did not reach as far as it could have reached, and that I, as a candidate, did not reach the extent to which I could have done.
Okay. So what is your sense if one looks at the board, the smaller parties and the newer entrants? There's a thought that if all of these smaller parties or newer entrants maybe work together and around a few common issues, that you guys would have stood a better chance to give the more established and bigger parties a run for their money.
Well, I think that hindsight is always 2020, isn't it? I don't think any party that did contest entered the contest anticipating a bad result. And it's certainly a democratic society, and You're right, but that is hindsight.
Okay.
So I think going in, we are a country that has had enough of establishment politics. Unfortunately, establishment politics are seasoned at playing these games, and they've got the
Yeah.
resources and everything else to throw at it.
Yeah. What do you say about a thought that is emerging and looking at the numbers, that maybe there must be a threshold for parties to be able to contest, and take the threshold, the number what you achieved the previous year, take that as a threshold. For example, let's be practical. To contest provincial elections, you must, if you're an established party, you must have had at least 2,000 or 3,000 votes, and nationally you should have had at least 10,000 votes or something like that. And I see you guys got nationally, you got over 107,000 now, I see, which is, so you're going to get a few seats, people into parliament. So luckily your leader would be going in and some other people to make their contributions. So what do you say about this thing about the threshold?
I think looking at what our ballot looked like on Wednesday, there's certainly merit in that. And certainly, to ensure that parties are serious about democracy, because a lot of parties are actually, and we'll see it now with the horse trading that's going to commence, or has already commenced. We'll see that a vote for specific parties is actually just a vote to keep the status quo in place. It's interesting that some parties have expressed an interest in working with the governing party, while some parties like ourselves have made it very clear that we actually exist to remove the governing party. So I think, as Actionsa, we initially trialed what we called primaries. At a local government level, and I think that a similar system might be useful. I did, the number of the canvassing system that the IEC wanted recently, where it wanted a certain number of signatures,
Yes, before
was
you get registered.
an attempt at that.
Yeah.
But I think possibly there needs to be a secondary and third elimination process where there are certain barriers and parties that are serious about contesting and need to make sure that they actually turn out their voters. Because if as a party you're able to get 500,000 signatures, then it should be effortless getting 500,000
votes.
numbers on the leaderboard. Yeah. And the same thing goes for us in terms of our membership. If we claim to have a membership of the whatever, though that should be the minimum that shows up on our leaderboard.
Exactly. So listen, you guys you part of the Senate, your national structure?
I am.
Okay. So you guys are part of Moonshot Pact, multi-party thing. Yes, multi-party thing. So that's got to be put to the test now, especially that point, because of coalition politics.
Yes.
And there's more than a bird that's whispering in my ear that a big play could be made for the DA and the ANC going into coalition. And
the DA is on record.
And that has been whispered before.
Yeah, look, the DA is on record, so it's not necessarily...
So what do you guys say of going into some kind of agreement with such... can I use that word? Dishonorable people who are going to might want to pull that card.
It would certainly affect a coalition with us. The DA is on record, and as coalition partners, we have called them out on their expression of interest to work with the ANC and govern with the ANC. Certainly, if they govern with the ANC, that excludes us as a partner. So that would certainly preclude the multi-party charter. And because like I said, with Action SA has been on record numerous times at every opportunity, clarifying over and over again that we will not govern. We exist to take the ANC out of government and to ensure that the ANC does not govern. So if a party like the DA decides that it wants to govern with the ANC, certainly they can do that, but it doesn't include us.
Yeah, that's another. It's another interesting topic that I want to engage with down the line. But what next for you now? What are you going to do now? If I may ask.
Well, I remain the provincial chairperson of the Western Cape, unless the party decides otherwise. And I would certainly want to go back to the drawing board and analyze our outcome. What did we do right? What did we not do right? Where did we miss it? And so on. Then go back to the ground and strategize with our structures and work towards building our structures towards 2026. And part of that is to ensure most certainly that come 2026 or any by-election that we do not put forward candidates that do not have a standing in their community. We do not put forward candidates that are not active citizens, that at least are attending sub-council meetings, that are playing an active role in their communities, and certainly candidates that would have been nominated from the structures up, so that we can ensure that there is a process to what it is that we do, and that we do things, we follow a process. There's integrity to our processes. I'm very big on integrity. I'm very big on accountability as an individual, and in as much as I am comfortable being held accountable, I believe that as a party, we're ambassadors for Action SA, and that we should actually take that to the ground. But I think one of the big things that I'm really looking forward to doing is to get back on the ground and actually work with communities, using my political platform. So we are a political party now. And we are represented at national level, whether we're represented at provincial level or not. I would go and do what I said I would do should I govern, which is to go and form those partnerships with civil society.
I remember
and ensure
that,
that I make a difference. That is where my heart lies, and that's where my passion lies. And look, there's a gift in everything. So the timing may not have been right for me in this campaign, but certainly the need exists in the Western Cape, and I would certainly want to be that instrument. I've been engaging with the community on the West Coast where the 11 fishermen went missing. I've been out there twice already, engaging with the families and providing support, and that's one of the issues that I'll certainly be driving in the Western Cape. I will be picking up on a lot of the things that I have found on the ground. I'm concerned about the children, Rod, in areas like Happy Valley that cannot go to school, because the chances of getting them back in school again are almost non-existent. I am very concerned about gender-based violence and femicide in this province. It's been I do not speak without speaking about gender-based violence and femicide. I do want to go and work with rehab centers to ensure that there is a practical, sustainable solution in working with rehab centers to ensure that beyond just rehabilitation, an addict then has access to a skills program that allows them to start fending for themselves. The same goes for reformed gangsters. There's your mothers. So there's a lot of work to do.
Close to your heart,
in the community.
It's a pity you didn't make it. I wanted you guys to at least to have one person in that provincial parliament, but keep up the good work in the community.
Yes.
And all the best towards 2026.
Thank you so much. I
Okay.
really do
All the
appreciate
best.
the time.
See you.
Thank you.